Hey guys, how's it going? So, I just wanted to wish everyone out there a happy new year and then also share a few things with you. And I say new year because the new moon occurs in Aries on May 11th, which is tomorrow. And that is sidereal astrology. That is, if you look up in the sky, this is the actual position of the sun, the moon, and the planets. It's different than tropical astrology or mainstream astrology, which is just sort of based on fixed dates. It's frozen in time to make astrology basically this pop culture. Oh, you're going to meet Mr. Wonderful tomorrow, that type of deal. But what I had done a while back is I had made a calendar based on the sky clock. And I will upload this and put the link in the description for anyone who is interested. And I think it's very useful. It helps you stay in tune with nature, with what's going on. And as you can see, I put some information in here about the symbols, what they mean, to give you an introduction if you're not familiar with the zodiac. And then the months are not the months of the mainstream slave calendar we have, although I did put the equivalent mainstream corporate calendar date down here in the corner. So as you can see, the months are just basically named after the zodiac signs, the 12 zodiacs. And so, or the 12 signs of the zodiac, rather. So yeah, right here will show you the sign that the moon is in, and the moon changes every 2.5 days. So it's nice to know where the moon is, what the energies are being expressed from the moon. It's super interesting, super helpful stuff. And like I said, down here in the corner, if you need to know the corporate slave calendar date, it's right there. And then these signs here show you where the moon is. I even tell you when the sun moves into its next sign, because the sun will spend an entire month in one sign. The sun takes an entire year to go through all 12 signs. The moon, on the other hand, goes through each sign of the zodiac in about 2.5 days. So all of that is right here. And even at the bottom, I have the planets that you might see. So if the evening planets, you can see Jupiter, Saturn, Mars. In the morning, you might see Venus. Venus is cool. I can see Venus during the day using those apps. It'll give you an idea of where it is in the sky, and you just focus up and you find it during the day. It's really cool to see Venus during the day. But yeah, this calendar is really interesting. It'll help you get further out of the mainstream way of thinking about the world, bring you in tune with the sky clock, with nature, with the seasons, with growing, with planting. Yeah, it's super interesting. I love it. So yes, it's Happy New Year's. It's tomorrow, the new moon in Aries, which is the start of the zodiac. And then you'll see it quickly moves into Taurus, and then Gemini, and the sun moves into Taurus right here. But yeah, it's if you watch my birthday hoax corporate calendar video, I explain this in a little more detail about calendars and what they are and how they're just used to monetize humans. And so if you follow nature, the years are 355 days, but then some years are 384. It's a cycle. It's a flowing of time. It's called the Metonic cycle. Actually, it's a 19-year cycle. And all the corporate calendar does is it takes the average of those 19 years, and then it chops those 19 years up into an average, and it just slaps that down over top of everybody and monetizes you so they can, collect the mortgage payments. Everything is very mathematical and uniform. There's no flow to it at all. But in reality, nature does flow. The tides flow. The tides are, it's not high tide every day at 8 o'clock. If you did that, you would sink your ship. The tides change. They change by a little bit every day. The sunrise changes every day. Everything changes, except for the corporate calendar, because they need to make money off the slaves. They need to round up the cattle. So yeah, if you're interested, download this calendar, play around with it. I love it. It's got some nice artwork. I took this from the old, Wahan Bayer. This is Gemini from 1603. Really cool drawings throughout here, and then some different ones at my last year's calendar. But yeah, this goes it's an entire year. So if you like this calendar, it goes all the way through 2021 in my year. And the year is it's random. Who knows what year it actually is? As all of you, I'm sure, are aware, we have no clue what the actual year is. It could be anything, and you're starting from a random point in history anyways. AD what is that day? What is it? Jesus' birth, whatever. I won't even touch that whole subject, but who knows? It's all random, and people see maps and they say that's not 19 or 1600, that's 600, that's an I, and the years don't matter really what you count them. I mean, if how long has the Earth been here? That's what year it is. So good luck with that one. But as far as knowing what the month is and what the day is, this calendar is very helpful because it shows you where the moon is every day. And so you're in tune with the energies that are coming to your body from the sky clock, and also where the sun is. The sun sets the tone for the month, and then the moon goes through every sign of the zodiac in that month. And so, yeah, it's super interesting. And yeah, so just to also let you know, to get even further out of the matrix. So yeah, I'll have my months based on the zodiac, and it really throws people for a loop. But beyond that, if you want to hear something really crazy, is I started researching and just thinking about the days of the week, because we don't have any idea of what year it is. Whatever, it doesn't matter, you can make up the year. But what about the days of the week? I was always puzzled by the days of the week because they are obviously named after the 7 planets. Your Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they're all the 7 planets. You have the sun, the moon, and it's easier to understand in Spanish where the names are closer to the planet names. You have Martes being, Tuesday, which is Mars. So you have, Moon Day, then you have Mars Day, Mercury Day, Jupiter Day, Venus Day, Saturn Day, all that stuff. So yeah, what I did was I really had to think about it, and it annoyed me because there was no marker on, and I was thinking, oh, we've lost this forever. We can't understand what the ancients understood as far as the days of the week. Are we on the correct day? Especially because they represent a planet, an energy, a celestial body up in the sky. And if you're into astronomy, astrology, and alchemy especially, like I am, it's really important. The energies are everything. And so it annoyed me until I realized that we do have a marker, and that is Monday, because Monday is Moon Day. It is the day of the moon. And so if you take that day, and then it clicked in my mind, because like I talked about in the calendar hoax video about calendars being a corporate slave product to monetize humans, well, the days of the week are a huge part of that, because who said that the days of the week are a continuous, non-interrupted stream of days or numbers or whatever? I mean, it has to be in the accounting system known as the corporate calendar, but if you're living in tune with nature where it flows, who says the days of the week have to constantly reset? There's no pause. And that's when it dawned on me, Monday is obviously Moon Day. That means they set Monday as the new moon, as the quarter moon, and then as the full moon. If you have a day that's named the Moon Day, why wouldn't that day be a day on which the full moon, the new moon, and the quarter moons occur? That's elementary, and that's universal, and everybody approximately would know what day it is when they look up and they say, oh, it's Monday, it's a full moon today, it's obviously Monday. So we do have a marker for the days of the week. Unfortunately, it throws the entire system into disarray, because if you go by that system, which is what I do sort of, but it's not very useful if you want to get to your job on the right day and show up for work. But it really does make people think, because look at this Monday would be what the corporate calendar thinks is Saturday. This is not Saturn Day. This is Monday. This is the day of the full moon, the new moon, the quarter moons. So right here would be my Monday. So I'm several days off, and in some months it actually lines up, but most of the time it doesn't. And even if you just use that for fun, it's priceless to see the look on people's faces when you say, no, I don't even think it's Tuesday, it's actually Monday. I'm sorry. That's how far out of the matrix I am. And not to sound snooty or anything, but just to have fun with it. I mean, if we're going to be trapped in this matrix slave system, we might as well have fun with it. So yeah, that's what I do, and I just wanted to share a few other things with you. Let me see here. I also am not sure if you're aware, but like I said, we have the new moon coming up to mark the new year, and then for these eclipses, I wanted to just briefly mention these eclipses because like I'm very much into alchemy. My wife's into herbalism, astroherbalism, in touch, in tune with the sky clock and the energies there. To me, this is human medicine. When I got into alchemy, I understood what humans are supposed to be doing. You can't just take, well, the way the ancients used to create medicine, when you understand alchemy and how they used to prepare medicine, and then you compare that to what is going on in this medical industrial complex we have, where they'll take something like, oh, this plant has an affinity for the liver, and the ancients say that it's good for liver problems, and they'll say, okay, well, let's take that plant and let's slap it in the laboratory and let's dissect it, and we're going to get to the one active component that is responsible for all these wonders in the human body, they would say, and they would break it down to some kind of like chemical equation. And then once they say, this is the little chemical formula for that teeny little part of that plant that's responsible for that effect on the body, and then they go manufacture it in some pharmaceutical plant in Africa, disgustingly not even natural at all. It's some chemical combination, and they're slapping out pills, and then you go to the doctor and they treat everything allopathically, and we all know that story. So yeah, that's slave medicine. You can't even call that medicine. That's like a weird bastardization of medicine. But the ancients, they knew that plants had connection to the above, to the below, to our bodies, and they knew the plant that has an affinity, like say artichoke, one of my favorite tinctures. We grow artichoke. Our artichoke plant is kick butt. I love that plant. I've already made like 3 tinctures out of this one plant, and it's amazing. But anyways, the artichoke leaf, so it has an affinity for the gallbladder. And so what you do is you make a tincture, a spagyric tincture out of it. And so when you do that in nature, not only do you have to harvest it at the correct time, meaning when the moon is in a good constellation, either for that part of the body that you want to treat, or maybe the planet that rules that constellation. So that's ruled by Mars, so you might want to harvest that when Mars is in Aries. When the planet Mars is in the constellation, the zodiac sign of Aries, that might be when you harvest it, when the moon is, or when the moon is there. Actually, the moon is probably the most important thing, but there's a lot of different combinations and energies, so you definitely want to have the right moon phase and then positioning of the planets, which, some orbits take a long time, so it's not always possible to get the planet in one. You might, but that's what you do. So you harvest it, you make a spagyrical preparation out of it, you let it sit for 40 days or beyond. And when you make medicine out of a plant, and this is just a quick summary, I hope I'm not losing anybody here, but when you make medicine out of a plant in the alchemical way, you're taking that plant and you're extracting the 3 principles from that plant, and you're purifying them. And out of any plant, any animal, anything in this world, you can actually all break them all down to 3 principles, and that is the sulfur, the spirit, and the salt, which is the body, the mind and the soul, whatever you want to call it. But in the plant world, they correspond to a salt, an alcohol, and an oil. So when I'm making that preparation out of my artichoke plant, I'm pulling the oil out, purifying it, and that oil is the soul of the plant. I'm pulling the alcohol out of that plant, and that is the spirit of that plant. And then I'm taking the body that's left over, and I'm just burning and purifying it down to ash. I mean, you have to burn the heck out of that plant until everything is gone and you're left with a white powder. And therein lie the salts, and you have to actually dissolve those in water, rainwater, and you purify them, you evaporate it, and you get these pure salts, which is amazing. And then you take those salts and you recombine them with the alcohol and the oil, and then you have a medicine. So I have made a medicine out of artichoke leaves, and in the bastardized medical world, like I said, they take, there's a component in those leaves, and they go manufacture a bunch of pills in a factory in Africa, and they say, take this for your whatever gallbladder issue, and there's a lot more involved with this. Like I said, there's energetics for all of these things, and there's it's an entire way of going about medicine, the indigenous peoples used to do, and ancient cultures. And I'm just kind of touching on the surface for you here. I don't want to overwhelm you, but yeah, so that's what goes on in the alchemical world of tinctures and preparations. And so I think I brought this up because of the eclipses in June. I actually have one that's been sitting since the eclipse in June of last year, and it's sitting for an entire year. I call these my eclipse spagyrics, and I'm making one out of rosemary, and then also purslane and moringa. And what's the other one I have? I don't know. It's sitting up there. But I did one during the solar eclipse, and I did one during the lunar eclipse, which is always 2 weeks later. And so when you harvest it and you sacrifice the plants and you put them in their vessel for the entire year. So yeah, I can't wait for the energetics of these. But the next eclipse that's coming up in the summer of this year is when I will distill those and create my medicines out of those once I burn the bodies. But I wanted to bring that up because a lot of people think that what is going on too in this current psycho world is that they are using this year as an alchemical circle, like a magic circle, basically, and they're imprinting humanity with, an alchemical system that is it's a year-long circle of the sky clock, and then when that is done in the eclipse this summer is when they have cemented basically the mindset for the next 20 years. Because you have to remember, we had the Great Conjunction in 2020. And for me, it's still 2020. The year's still going on. This big magic circle is still going on. So, maybe we'll see the new system really kick into gear after the eclipse this year. But, my year is ending tomorrow. So May 11th marks the new year for the new moon in Aries. And, and one other thing that's interesting about these eclipses. So if you remember, we had the eclipse in 2017, and these two eclipses here are marking the X over America. And so the eclipse that we had right near the Great Conjunction was December 14th. And what's interesting about this, and I don't want to scare anybody, or I don't want you to think I'm a freak beyond the freakiness I already display, but this eclipse in December 14th of last year, it actually marks the exact midpoint between these two eclipses that make an X over America. We're talking down to the day. It's 1,211 days between both of these eclipses. That December 14th eclipse we had right next to the Great Conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter, that eclipse marked the midpoint. So what happened in that day? Well, or what is that number, that 1211 number? That's 1,211 days. If you take a month as being around 28, 29 days, and again, there's the lunar, the phase cycle, and there's the actual moon cycle, 29 and a half or 28 days. So if you take 28.83333 whatever as your month, a number for your month, and you divide that, you get 42 months. And not to be a freak or anything, but 42 months is that number in the Bible where the beast was given a mouth to speak and authority to act for 42 months. So that is 42 months from December 14th of 2020 until this next eclipse of 2024. So for 42 months is the distance between, like I said, right around the Great Conjunction, that eclipse, and then this next eclipse was a big giant X over America. So I thought that was interesting. And so what happened on the 14th? Not a whole lot, other than we did officially get Biden elected as the mouthpiece for America, the beast. And they did refer to America as the beast. Amargo, isn't that Amargo? And there's some interesting stuff. I think I used to research that. But yeah, we have Biden got the Electoral College go ahead on the 14th, the beast given the mouthpiece. And there is something, I think I did a video back when I was doing that Google 666 video about America, Amargo, that the name America actually came from the name of the beast. Yeah, I believe in my Google 666 video I had researched that, and America got its name from, like, it was a dragon or the beast. And that's interesting too. I don't know if you watched that video. I don't know if I uploaded that again, but yeah, if you turn Google upside down, it is 666009. Like, the E is a backwards 6. The L is a 6 in Hebrew, in Arabic. That's a 6. And then that G upside down is a 6, obviously. That's a plain old 6. So you have backwards 6, a Hebrew Whoops, sorry about that. I ran out of time. So yeah, you have the backwards six, or you have the backwards six, you have the Hebrew six, and then you have a normal six. So yeah, take that for what it's worth. But yeah, that was interesting when I made that video, and not that I was like some kind of, what do you call it? Yeah, he's like a I wasn't. I'm not a prophet. Like, I wasn't saying anything other than I do think it's interesting the way you can look back in time and say, like, or see all these references like to 9/11. We're finding, you can find that everywhere, and it's not like the bad guys in their smoke-filled room are doing that. It's just the way, like that quantum of consciousness always talks about it. Reality just kind of works that way. It's like it's God. I mean, God is just amazing the way things like that happen. But in that video that I had done, this was a while back. I don't even know when I did that video, like 2017 or 18 maybe, long time ago. But I had put the Mr. Yuck figure over the earth, and then I had those Google images with their king batons like smacking the earth with it, and then it's just so happened that not too long after that we had the corona, the coronation, and the whole earth is sick, and the beast system is now being put over the earth with the cryptocurrencies. And I mean, you could not do that before the internet. We could not have done this corona thing in 2000, in the year 2000. It just was not possible. We can only do this when we have the internet, and everyone, even in the desert in Africa, is connected to the internet with their little stupid phones or smartphones. So this couldn't have occurred in the past, and it is like the invasion of the body snatchers. I mean, people that used to have logic and reason, I'm just shocked that what they will do to apologize for the system, and it's all cognitive dissonance. I mean, it really hurts them to try to think. They don't want to give up their reality, their system. So it is very interesting to watch. But yeah, I thought you might be interested in that information. Like I said, 42 months, that is the amount of time between the December 14th eclipse and then this next one in 2024. I think I might either move right to here, either move right to it or as far away from it as you can. So I don't know. I mean, we have a pretty sick permaculture, urban permaculture place set up down here in Florida. I really do appreciate living in Florida. I mean, we have never really worn masks here, so it's nice. But yeah, we'll see where we're gonna take this permaculture food forest to the next level. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We have to wait until the next summer until we get into some major property, but we grow almost everything we need here. I mean, it's insane. I'll try to upload a video, but we have so much food we can't even give it away. People won't take it. It's crazy. But yeah, that's about it. If you want this calendar I had mentioned, I will put the link in the description, and have fun with it if you like. If you want to really mess people up, mess up your days. It's not Thursday, it's Monday, because it's fun. Just have fun with it. But anyways, thanks so much for watching, and I'll try to upload another video if I can ever think of a topic worthwhile. I did have one made, but I needed to change it. But yeah, that's about it. Take care, and adios.